on the Freeview History Channel the classic TV series The World at Peace, narrated by Sir Famous Actor. Tonight's programme has scenes which some viewers may find distressing, but others will just go, yeah, whatevs, what's on Channel 5?
The Arctic, cold, forbidding, full of snow. Yet in the dark days of the 1960s, few knew of the horrors beneath. The prosperous post-war 1960s. As these silent home movies show, every year on Christmas morning, children all over the world would wake up to toys from Santa. Even then, many were manufactured in Far Eastern factories by huge corporations, purchased by the then Santa in bulk, shipped to the North Pole, and then personally redistributed by him in the time-honoured way. Yet for PR reasons even today, few know the dark past behind this global operation.
It really all began in the 1930s with the increasing demands of children for more sophisticated toys like train sets, dolls that squeak, bicycles and, of course, Etch-a-Sketch. This new generation was certainly not going to be satisfied with an orange and a bag of nuts. To meet this increased consumer demand, the then Santa, Claus the 14th, had to rapidly seek new means of mass production, so naturally turned to the North Pole's near neighbour, the USSR, currently achieving spectacular economic industrial growth. Comrade Stalin, anxious to increase Soviet influence through the Comintern, happily provided advisors, seeing in Santa's international largesse a neo-Marxist parallel, to each according to his wants, as it were. Plus, of course, a polar base for future operations against his ideological enemies, capitalist North America, imperialist Britain and fascist Germany.
Yet Claus the 14th's overtures to Stalin would have unforeseen consequences for his largely elvish workforce.
We KGB advisors, we quickly saw that the old artisan production system of individual elf workshops and pixie glades to be hopelessly inefficient. Yes, the individual craftsmanship of the diminutive toy makers was impressive, but, as we pointed out to Comrade Santa, only by embracing mass production could he hope to match the output of the recreational industrial concerns of Birmingham, the Ruhr and Detroit. Production quotas were duly set, and with just a sprinkling of fairy dust, successfully matched by Santa's helpers.
But this was just the beginning. As in the Soviet Union, production quotas were raised and raised again. Elves and fairies failing to meet them were denounced as saboteurs who, quote, didn't really care about rewarding good children. They were arrested, harangued in public show trials, and sentenced to gulags. When these methods of coercion proved ineffective in meeting output quotas, a process of forced collectivization of elvish workshops was also adopted. Santa's helpers were obliged to join huge production line factories or face deportation to special rehabilitation camps, where each was given a number.
You are number 6. I'm not a number. I'm a free elf.
Santa Claus is gunning you down? These camps were notorious for their poor conditions, their total disregard for elf and safety, and the cruelty of the guards who regularly refused bedtime stories. Joint occupation by the Western Allies and Soviets during World War II didn't help the North Polish either, even if it did forestall Hitler's plan to use U-boats in fairy grottos. Nazis not being big on peace and goodwill to all men, even at Christmas. Sadly, this inhumane treatment of helpers continued for decades. Only when the incumbent Santa, Claus the 14th, was deposed in 1956 by a CIA-backed coup were these camps closed and Western factory methods introduced.
Well, gee, we're classifying Heathgun and are really changed. But, you see, we had to act before the Ruskies used the North Pole to base nukes, like what they tried in Cuba. Then, when President Kennedy took office, we got our chance.
In 1962, with the space race hotting up, President Kennedy scored a major diplomatic coup whilst on a state visit to the Easter Bunny on Easter Island.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
In 1969, when Neil Armstrong became the first man to set foot on the moon, he wasn't alone.
That's one small step for the Easter Bunny, one giant leap for rabbit kind.
But you see, it was all worth it. Yeah, sure, it meant states getting into bed with a chocolate-addicted rabbit. But hey, it was a Cold War. Hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Hey, that rabbit broke us out of Vietnam, so we won there too.
Today, thanks to global warming, Santa's helpers enjoy a living standard comparable with Belgium, a national elf service, and pay-to-view satellite TV, including some fruity Scandinavian channels and back-to-back Disney Fairies Uncut. And of course, the turbulent relationship between Santa and Mother Christmas continues to be a Hello magazine staple. Remember, Santa knows if you've been good or not, and so does the Easter Bunny.